difference. Why? Because of human behavior involvement in social sciences. Because in social sciences, we cannot have controlled experiments like in pure sciences, like you can have a laboratory where you can have vacuum and you can see how two elements are going to, collide, etc. Okay, but in social sciences, we cannot say let let two people fight to see what actually happens. Even if we ask data from the people, it depends how we are asking, and depending on how we are asking, at what time we are asking, the data may differ. It means there are several permutations and combinations for collecting data as well. So these are few of the fundamental differences because of which social sciences are much more difficult, and that is why social science scientists, they may not give answers that may last very long, or that are uh, very perfect. For example, whenever GDP figures are there by the government, there are people who are criticizing that this is not exact, this is not the method. It will always be there because GDP is not a perfect measurement criterion. It is an estimate. So what we are going to do in social sciences, we have more estimates than the perfect measure. But in physical sciences, we have more perfect measurements, though they are also not perfect, but near about perfect measurements. Uh, More perfect measurements are there in comparison to estimates. So, for example, if you want to measure a cloth, you have a cloth meter. To measure with that meter, always it will remain same to our eyes, and the difference between these two measurements will be negligible. Let me ask the engineering fellow, what do you think if I go to purchase 1 meter of cloth from a market at two instances? Can Will it be different or will it be perfectly same? Who has asked the question? Let me see.
I think he's responded in the chat box. He said same.
Same. Okay, let me then pose you another question. What about climatic condition? If I'm going to purchase in summer and in winter, what do you say about the metal and the alloy? Whether they will expand or contract or no, or they will remain same? Yes, Mr. Subramaniam, what is your answer? They may change. Okay, now your answer is they may change. So, mathematically, even if there is 0.0001 difference in measurement of the cloth, it is not perfect, but it is near about perfect because the difference is negligible or insignificant for us. In social sciences, what happens? We do not have any near perfect answers. We have answers that are estimated based on things which we have measured, which may not be measured in the same manner in some other time. That's why repetition and validation of social sciences research is more. Okay. So I hope that I have answered the question of Subramaniam. Mr. Subramaniam, have I answered your question? Okay. So let's move ahead with the data types. Okay. This is also it is very important to, because now in quantitative research, data is our evidence. And therefore, we need to know what kind of evidence it is. What are the properties of evidence? How this evidence is arranged. So the internal structure of our evidence needs to be understood by the researchers before putting that evidence for analysis. I always tell my fellow researchers and students that if you want to do good research, first try to understand data. Spend more time on understanding data, not analyzing. Okay, analyzing can take less time, but arranging, understanding data is very important before you analyze. Okay, so let us see what are the different types of data in quantitative research, uh, which we can use, and this demarcation is very strict. So it is not that a data type can be can be fall in cross-sectional as well as panel? No. We'll see. Okay, so cross-sectional data, it is collected at one point of time. Suppose I say that right now I am going to collect the level, the income level of everybody in this session. So right now I am going to measure that will be at a point of time. Or say, for example, I am going to measure in January 2024, what was the consumption pattern of a particular section of people. That is also again the same thing. Okay. This is known as cross-sectional data. Okay. And for this cross-sectional data, random sampling is clear. Here, time does not matter because it is only one time point at a specific point of time. So there is no rule of time. It is rule of the data which we are being collected. Time is not important because time is defined once only. Say, for example, January 2004, right now, next day, yesterday, 2020, 2021. Okay, so these are specific time periods. So no rule of time in this. It is just to state that there is a time in which has been collected. Example, if you see, this is an example. So observation number. Next days. We have collected, say, for example, this data yesterday from a specific area. We went to that area, we said we are going to collect. We collected data for 400 people. We collected their wages, their education, their experience, their gender, and whether they are married or not. That we collected. Okay. Here, different skills we already have developed. Obviously, this is not a session on scaling, otherwise, we have talked about scaling. So, we have collected the data. Yesterday, we have collected the data. So, now date has been fixed for this, say, for it's the 27th August 2024. That's it. Now, if we go to analyze this data type is cross-sectional data. And all the techniques that are available for cross-sectional data can be applied on this data. All the properties of cross-sectional data will be present in this, etc. Second type, another example, this is for example, observation. If we also add name, so name is can be added, it is not a problem. Say, for example, in the last example as well, if we say observation 1, 2, 3, 4, 400, I can add a name of the people from whom I have collected here. Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D, Mr. E, no problem. So similarly, if do not get confused, if we can also add name. Name and time does not have any valuation in terms of analysis. So we have observed 50 observation for 50 countries, but again, time is not there. It means it is a specific point of time, maybe yesterday, maybe 2020, maybe 2021, but any one specific time period. There cannot be more than one time period, time points in this kind of data. This is cross-sectional data. Then we have time series data. Uh, in time series data is the most interesting and most powerful data. You know, time is very powerful. We all know. Okay. So time series data is a data which can be ordered according to time. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m. There is a chronology, remember, in time period. Okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If we are having a data which can be arranged in this manner, then it is time series data. It's a series. This series is arranged according to time. There are two concepts, lag and lead, which are very important in time series data. The concept of lag says that the concept is philosophical, that past affects the future. Lead says the future affects the past, but we all know future cannot affect past. But still, we use this concept of lead in some imaginary situation. I'll tell you how. But as of now, remember, lag is a very pragmatic thing. It's a philosophical term. We say, okay, the past can predict the future. It can lead to present. So suppose we have data for 10 years. We can say 2001 has contribution today also. We'll see that with an example. So this concept of lag, which is used in time series data, depends on past events can influence the future events. There is one major problem in time series data, which is known as stationarity. In simple terms, for those who are starting with the quantitative research, it means that the data will be stable over a longer period of time. What is stability? Stability in technical terms means that the observations which are there, they will revolve around mean of that series. They will not deviate too much from the mean. We will see one example also of it. So, the important thing about data classification is that once you know a data, you know what is its philosophy, what is its arrangement, and what is the major problem which we have to solve. For example, stationary is not a problem in cross-sectional data. So you need not spend time on understanding or evaluating stationary. It is a problem specific to time series data. Let us see the example of time series data. So we have observations. Now see, we have year. 1950, 1951, 52, 354, and so on. So arrange according to time. This is the simplest data and most powerful also. Remember, chronology is important. We cannot write in the reverse manner that 2000 and 1999, 1998, 90. No, we have to arrange it in chronology. Why? Again, because of the concept past events can influence the future event. So if you are writing a data or you somebody has given you and written 1953 first, then 1952, then 1951. So you have a table. You can analyze it, but it will be absolutely wrong because the fundamental philosophy of the lag, that is past events can predict the influence the future events, will be broken. So remember, chronology is very important in time series data and it has to be strictly maintained. Now, another type is the pooled cross-sectional data. It is a combination of both. That is cross-sectional plus time series. So if you have both the properties in a data, if you have arranged in such a manner, then it becomes a pooled cross-sectional data, which is very common for government policies because in government policies they are collecting, say for example, same types of data over a period of time. So what was the wage of locality A people in January? What was their wages of the same locality in February? What was their wages in March, etc. So they are creating a time series element as well as every time there is a time they are collecting data in that particular period of time. So it is known as pooled cross-sectional data. Now this data has both the properties of cross-sectional and time series. That's why it is more powerful but more challenging as well. This is an example of, this pooled cross-sectional data. We have observation, we have year, and then we have variables. Okay. So this is a pooled cross-sectional data where we are having year also and we are collecting at that particular time also. If you see, then we have a panel data. It consists of time series for a cross-section, also known as longitudinal data. So, say for example, for 10 years, we are having data for 10 variables for 10 countries. So, 10 time periods, 10 different countries, 10 variables. Okay, this is basically a panel data. I am moving a bit faster so as to complete everything possible. So this is the example you see observations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, city 1, 1, 2, 2, 2 times every city is come. So this is pooled data. Okay. So this was about data types. Just a pause of 2 minutes. If there is any question related to data types, most welcome. So we have cross-sectional, we have time series, we have pooled cross-sectional, and we have ultimately the panel. Now, there are several techniques in quantum. So, any questions to anybody? Let me just see for 2 minutes. Is there any question in chat box? No. Okay. So, you see, uh, several of the techniques are available in quantitative. But in order to have causal relationship, we have to pick only those techniques that are having cause and effect relationship. Let me ask you or throw this question to you. How many of you have use regression in your thesis or in your research publication. You can raise your hand as well, the virtual hand. I just observe that how many of you say, because I'm going to present a very interesting statistic about regression. So how many of you have, you know, applied regression in your thesis, in your research, publication, etc.? One, I can see. Only one person has used regression. Only one Dr. Shruti has, raised her hand. Okay, no problem. I think others are not ready to share. So just let us start from Dr. Shruti. Dr. Shruti, what will you say? How many times you have applied regression? Let me ask you some questions related to regression. And don't panic. These are simple questions. Even if you are not able to answer, you will fall into those 99% successful people. So don't take these questions serious. Dr. Shruti, you are there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Shruti. I asked two, three questions about regression.
Yeah.
What are the assumptions of regression? Any one assumption, can you tell me?
So one assumption is that, sir, that there is one variable which is dependent on the other one. So they are going to have a relationship with each other.
Okay, let me ask this same question to somebody else. Asim, Mr. Asim. Asim is raising hand. Mr. Asim, what do you say to the same? What is your answer to the same question? Can you name any one assumption related to regression?
So the assumption is that there is only one uh, independent variable and there is only one dependent variable. And if there are any other variables, we should know about them and we should also include them in the analysis.
Anybody else? Organizer, you can also answer. Moderators can also answer. No issue. Because you are spending so much time over here, you also have all the opportunities. Okay. Yes.
Heteroscedasticity.
Heteroscedasticity
Yes.
is the
One.
or homoscedasticity.
Yes. One heteroscedasticity should not be there.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Yes. Anybody else? Okay. So one of the things with regression, and also the person who answered about homo or heteroscedasticity, let me just ask you uh, one another question that who has given regression? Can anybody tell me who has given regression?
Uh, Sir, I'm not sure about the name, but
Hmm,
it was something like he was doing some research on some data on the father and son's height. It was I'm not sure about the name.
okay.
And he found something interesting fact that this is uh, there is a factor that is stepping something like back. It was something there, sir. I'm not sure about
Okay.
the average height
Always.
of fathers and
That you are right. It is about height. For the first time he used in biology. His name was Francis Galton. And later
Francis.
on, people started experimenting, and then came the Gauss-Markov theorem of regression.
Yes,
Whatever.
sir.
So my point is that see, everybody is most of us do apply regression in order to identify the causal relationship, but we have not gone in the proper understanding and application, which is actually required on our part to be good enough in quantitative research. So if you see over here, we are going to have some starting discussion on regression. Okay, uh, there are certain assumptions which should be checked in our data. But see, for example, once you have identified, okay, your data is time series, so or cross sectional or pooled or panel. First, once you are going to apply regression, you need to first check your all the variables of data with the assumptions of the regression, whether regression can work on those variables as it is, or some kind of transformation is required for those variables. We call them finite sample properties of regression, that is ordinary least squares regression, because that is the way in which regression is written. They are also known as Gauss-Markov theorems. Okay. Now it is necessary, not important, it is necessary and mandatory that all these six assumptions should be fulfilled. If any one assumption is not fulfilled, then whatever is being drawn, whatever conclusion or relationship is drawn from the regression will not be accepted as a causal relationship. You getting my point? So that is the importance of these finite sample properties of regression. If you see, we have, I'm just skipping these things. One of the study which was conducted, it studied 99 studies, and they identify that only 17% of the study discussed the finite sample property 2 only. So many studies are there which are applying the regression, but they are ignoring the assumptions of the regression. Okay, we are going to call these finite sample properties as FSPs. Okay, and there are six FSPs that needs to be considered. First one is known as the linearity in parameters, that the parameters should be linear. What is parameters? Whenever we have a variable and we say that this variable has a coefficient, we say that the coefficient should always be linear. Okay, this is quite technical, but for simply suppose if you see this equation, nt equal to beta 0, beta 1. So this beta 1, beta 2, beta p, these should be these should be linear. Means they should not be any exponential feature e raised to power x or x raised to the power n. They should be numbers. They should be between a value. They should be between 0 to 1 or some variation. They should be real numbers. Okay. This is the first finite sample property. Second is there should not be perfect collinearity. Now, this is very interesting. Particularly, this is a problem in time series that we have 2001 GDP, we have 2002 GDP, we have 2003 GDP. Now, all these three are there. We can have 2001 employment, 2002 employment, 2003 employment. The collinearity or the collinearity actually means correlation between the independent variable, that is explanatory variable, should not be perfect. That both are affecting perfectly. That should not be there, because if that is the there, it means we are saying that there is no randomness, there is no role of stochastic variable or the error term. So therefore, it should again not be there. The third FSP is conditional mean, zero conditional mean. This is very interesting, that it means actually that there is a stability. You know, an easy example is this mean reversion. We call it also mean reversion. Suppose you are in India, okay, and you are going to United States of America. So in India, what happens is, let's not take your example. There are people, suppose in India, what they do is they spit over here. Pan, गुटखा, विमल, जो लोग खाते हैं वो कहीं पे भी, वो they will spit anywhere. But the same person, when he lands to United Kingdom or USA, he is not going to generally spit here and there. He will be very cautious. What has actually happened? Actually, that he is now behaving the average of the all people over there. So you behave in an average manner where you live. So that is known as zero conditional mean. So if we have so many data points, when they start behaving around the averages, then we call it zero conditional mean. And then 4 and 5 is homoscedasticity, that the different variables should not be UT and OT are independent. Okay, that the variable itself and its relationship with the stochastic variable, that is error term, should not be linked. They should be independent to each other. Okay. And the fifth FSP is no serial correlation autocorrelation. Particularly, this is the problem with time series data. So, for example, 2001 GDP, 2002 GDP. So, GDP of 2002 may have some impact of GDP of 2001. And maybe GDP of 2002 also have some impact of GDP of 2099 GDP का भी impact हो सकता है. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आज का जो GDP है इसमें 1991 के GDP का भी कुछ contribution, we don't know. Okay, because time is there, time influence, time has an effect. So this is known as serial correlation or autocorrelation. So we should be cautious about all these properties, and then we should go. Then we have the normality, that the error terms after we do analysis, they should be normally distributed. If the error terms are normally distributed, then it means that the model has worked perfectly. And once all the FSPs are satisfied, then only we can say that we should go towards the application of regression analysis. Now we have around 15 minutes. Now the house is open. If you have any doubt in any of the specific things which we have discussed, we will take up those topics, and then I will spend last few minutes on how to approach a qualitative research article, means how to write a qualitative research article, because that is one of the challenge in qualitative research. So the house is open for some time and then we will proceed. Yes, if there is any question, any doubt.
चलो भैया
Yes, anybody, if you have any doubt, you can ask.
उनके सर में फुल के
Okay, I think there's no doubt about it. So let me just ask you, what will be better for you? Should I show you a quantitative research article and then discuss with you? Or should I directly tell you about how to write a quantitative research article? Because if you are good in quantitative research, or even if you are not very good in quantitative research, ultimately you have to write about it. So writing part cannot be, undermined. That it is very important always to how to approach a quantitative research article, because it actually publishes your output. Okay, so that's why it is very important. So if what will you prefer? What the audience will prefer? To should I pick up a sample article and then I should discuss, or I should discuss anyhow?
Sir, you may discuss.
Pardon? Again, please.
You may discuss without showing it.
No, what is your preference?
Means, sample article is not necessary.
No, it's not necessary. Okay, okay. I'll show you. I think what I'll do, I'll show you two articles. And with the help of these two articles, I try to, try to tell you how to approach it in two different manners. First of all, there is a book by Wooldridge, Econometrics. Econometrics is part of, quantitative research. So there is a book by Wooldridge. In that particular book, at the end, there is an appendix. And in that appendix, you can see that there is a proper way of how to write a quantitative research article. So that may be a very good reference. Otherwise, I'll show you two publications. Okay. Okay. So you see two different types of publications are there. This is one, for example. Okay. And if you see in this, we first start with introduction. in which you present all the theoretical things and all a brief introduction to the author. We proceed with the, now here there is a disagreement. Certain authors say that if you are doing a quantitative research, you should first write the conceptual framework and then you should go for review. Some say, and conceptual framework is defining all the variables, everything. Okay. Others say no, review of literature can be first, should be first mentioned, and based on then you should go for concept. So it is your choice which you want to pursue. Okay. So if you see all this is there. Then comes the factors. For example, this is just a theoretical arrangement. After that, you can come up with some descriptive things. Okay, so you want to throw some light on the descriptive statistics and talk about it. So you can bring in a very basic analysis, which is not causal. Okay, so you can bring in a basic analysis which is not causal. So you can start from correlation on all other type of things, and then you can come to the methodology, which is the main thing. What method? What is the difference between methodology and methods? First of all, anybody? What is the difference between methodology and methods?
Methods are the, like data collection methods, survey method, and
Mhm.
methodology when we justify those methods, that why we are using that method particularly. That is methodology.
Okay, anybody else?
Methodology is a umbrella term under which the methods come, sir. So if qualitative is the methodology, then there are various methods to do that research, like
Okay,
interview,
okay, well,
case study.
methodology. Okay, methodology is the philosophy or the approach. Okay, and methods are techniques. Okay, you getting my point? Do you agree? Methodology is philosophy and methods are techniques. So you see, then we should move on to the methodology, define the data. In data, you define sample period, what are the variables, description of the variables, what are the sources, okay, if there's any expectation, what. Then comes the method, which is actually the technique which you are using. The first methodology, where you're defining data, and then comes the method. You apply the method, okay, whether whatever technique you want to, then your results and discussions will come, and ultimately you will have conclusion. Okay. And all the more tables and all very deep tables, graphs and all. In a quantitative research article, you need not use all these graphs and tables in between the writing part. It is better to take all those things at the end. Or if there are some which are very important, then you can take the most important one in between of the reading test, because we do not want to bombard the reader with figures and all. We want them to understand what we have done. Another approach is, see, this is another paper. You see, another approach is that you start again, always you are going to start with introduction. Okay, and in introduction, you argue and introduce a question that what we are going to see. Like for example, here you see this is the question. How the tariff and non-tariff measures in the presence of damage of trade war linked to GDP of the Asian economies. And then again you have a review, and then you have the conceptualization, which is both theoretical and mathematical. If you see over here, we have this mathematical conceptualization. Okay. What is happening? This is a quadrant, and then you have this specific area under which you are going all the analysis, you are showing how you are developed. Okay, necessary tables and graphs are there, and then you have conclusion and policy and conclusion, and then limitation. So very specific hard and fast rule is not there, but this is the pattern which needs to be followed. Okay. So still we have 7 minutes. The house is open for any question, any doubt, any disagreement. Most welcome. Let it be an interactive and informative session. The house is open for all the participants. Okay, Mr. Asim, is it clear to you? Dr. Shruti, any doubt? Uh,
Sir,
uh,
I had a question about semi-quantitative data. So, for example, let's say a scale of pain that is experienced by a person upon an impulse or something like that. So, in that case, the data is both, you can say, quantitative and qualitative, because qualitative in the sense that it is relative to each person, the pain scale, but quantitative in the sense that you are asking the person to grade the pain from 0 to 10. So 0 being least painful and 10 being most painful. So uh, do you know how to work with the semi-quantitative kind of data?
okay, see, as a quantitative researcher, whenever I see a data which is in numbers, I will say it is quantitative. That's it. Okay, so I will start working from a data which is in some metrics. Okay, because it is now a data point for you. Yes, how you define that data point? What is your definition of scale? How you are defining that is that I want to know. But once you give me data points and I start doing my analysis, for me it is quantitative research. You get my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is how I will approach. I said in my discussion, there is no strict compartmentation between qualitative and quantitative. Okay, they rely on each other. So in your case, it is a combination of both. But once we have some matrices, if you give me any numbers, I can do any analysis. Obviously, I need to know what are those numbers about. So even if you measure honesty and give me a scale, I will do quantitative analysis. All those PLS, all those techniques of VC and GAR, etc. Because of that. Okay, Dr. Shruti, is it clear? Whatever we discussed, any doubt?
Yes, sir. No doubt from my end.
Okay, then Hamsa, I think these are moderators. Dr. Tarunesh, I think he is also part of moderating team, if I'm not wrong. Mr. Pintu, Margaret. I call some names, not all. Okay, on random sampling. Vinaya, C.A. Swati, Dr. Zafar Ali, and then we have Tanuja, Ms. Tanuja, Dr. Navgare, Dr. Vilash, Dr. Shanti, okay, Halima, Miss Halima Ansari, Dr. Shriram. Uh, okay, so we have very good number of participants. Okay, okay. I think now it is towards the moderators. Okay, there's a question. Any idea where basic sciences research may merge with social sciences research? Yes, we have so many examples. Uh, First of all, the borrowing of the techniques is there. Like, Abhijit Banerjee got the Nobel Prize in economics for poverty. But what techniques he was using was the RCT, the randomized control trial. Now, these randomized control trials are the basic methods which are used in, hospitals and medical sciences. So, borrowing if the technique is there is no doubt about it. And where they are going to merge, say, for example, if you want to study the economics of medical sciences, say for example. So you have all the products that are in medical sciences, medicines, but it is economics. So you need to borrow things from here and there, and then you have to move ahead. That is what we call multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary research. Okay. I hope that I have answered your question. Uh, okay. Okay, then we have 2 minutes left. I hope that I have finished my task within the given stipulated time. Thank you, everyone. Now, over to moderators for comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that session. There are some participants who had joined through YouTube link, and they have shared their feedback as well. First of all, this is to all the participants. I've shared the feedback link on the chat box here as well. as on the YouTube chat box. Please make sure that you fill the form. And thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening session. I have personally learned a lot from this, and I'm sure I'm echoing the rest of the participants when I say this to you. I don't think we have any questions left.
Questions, if they do not
Thank you
have
so
any
much,
questions,
sir.
it means
The
two
link,
things. Yeah. Either they have not understood
uh,
anything or they have understood completely. But that will be clear in feedback. So I will request you to share the feedback with me as well so that I can see that. And
say the feedback link has been shared. Uh, okay, with you. Okay, so
with
we'll do
me,
that.
the total feedback, the
And
complete.
I think someone was asking, yeah, okay, sir. Someone was asking regarding the feedback form. We've already shared it in the chat box. It's been shared in the Zoom link as well as in the YouTube chat box.
Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you everybody. It was very good to have an interaction with you all. Okay, so thank you.
And I
Am
would
I
request the
permitted?
participants not to leave the session because we are going to start the second session with the same link.
Okay, so I can
Thank you
leave.
so much.
Am I allowed to leave now?
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Have
Thank
a
you so
nice day,
much, sir.
everybody.
We look forward to having you again with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Arzu ma'am.
Ma'am.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I have joined from my laptop, but I want to join from my phone. So if I leave the
Yeah.
meeting, I'll be out and I'll not be able to join
Yeah,
again.
yeah. No, no, you can join in. You can join in. Just join
I
this.
can.
ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா மியூட்ல தான் இருக்கு பண்ணி
Thank you, ma'am. I have joined from my mobile.
Okay, ma'am. We'll start the second session in a while. For those of you who can't find the link, I have shared it in the chat box. We are sharing it on Telegram as well.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Subhashish sir. You wanted to say?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Karunesh.
I just wanted to, ma'am, I just wanted to ask, do we need to connect again on the other link or it will be continued
No.
until
This is the same link. We'll start the session in a minute.
Okay, thank
Please
you.
stay on.
Madam, I need to ask you that I have submitted the recommendation letter. So,
Hi, ma'am. Vibhasar has already joined, so I think we can start the session.
With the second, yeah.
hello.
Subhashis, so we'll just wait for till the end of the session. You could maybe drop a text then. For now, we can start with the second session. Hello, Vibhasar.
Hello, I'm here. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Hello?
you're audible.
Great.
So we'll be starting the second session of day one of the NEP sensitization program. So Dr. Vibhash Kumar, he's currently a professor at Jindal Global Public School, OP Jindal Global University. He earned his PhD in Organizational Behavior and Human Resource Management from the University of Delhi. With over a decade of teaching experience, Professor Kumar has implemented diverse pedagogical approaches, understanding the importance of engaging students effectively. Employing innovative methods, he creates an interactive learning environment where students are encouraged to think critically and participate actively. Professor Kumar has supervised one PhD student and is currently guiding 4 PhD scholars. His research interests span a wide spectrum, including employee engagement, employer branding, behavioral finance, and the dynamics of remote and hybrid work environments. In addition to his teaching endeavors, his scholarly contributions include publications in reputable publishing houses like Emerald, Springer, Sage, and in the science, where he has authored several research articles. Professor Kumar has also made significant contributions to academic scholarship. Professor Kumar's leadership extends beyond the classroom, having held leadership positions as Assistant Director of the Teaching Learning Center and Course Coordinator at Ramanujan College under the Ministry of Education. Additionally, he has been associated as Assistant Dean and now as Associate Dean in the Office of Accreditation, IOE, and Impact at JGBS, JGU. In these capacities, he spearheads critical AACSB accreditation initiatives of GBS, emphasizing on the importance of maintaining high academic standards. Welcome, sir. We're thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you, Arzu. Wonderful to be back at Ramanujan College. Great. So as I see, we have 100 participants. So great, amazing. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'll take it from here. So we are going to talk about quality parameters in research today. And please do let me know, if I'm audible completely. Okay, so I'll be talking about some of the aspects. I'm going to share my screen quickly, and then I'll just begin the session. So, yeah. Is it visible as well, Arzu? All right. Yeah. Great. So you are requested, the participants are requested. If you have any question, please put it on the chat box. After every 15-20 minutes, I'll be taking it up and looking at it, and I'll try to answer as much as possible. So today's topic, quality parameters of research. Research, as we all know and understand today, is very, very important. And now, the thing is that research is important, but then what are the parameters that we need to take care of? Absolutely. And what are the quality parameters that we understand is an important or a must to take things forward? So in this particular session, what I'm going to talk about is more about how do you define a research to be a quality research, number one. Number two, we'll be talking about all the online resources that we are having at our disposal. Not all that I can talk about, but I'll be talking about some that I know and I use myself. All right. So I'll be talking about that. Third thing that I'll be, I'll be talking about is how to do advanced search. So I'll show you one or two advanced search that can be done on Scopus as well as Google Scholar, because as we understand, there can be a lot of uh, search results that come to us immediately when we type something. So we have to understand how to limit our search results to the most important uh, articles or inputs that we are looking in. And the last part of it is about making the publication visible. That is, of course, comes at a later stage when when you have your publications, and then you would want your publications to be visible. All right. So, so in this context, I'll be talking about several of the things, several of the practical aspects I'll be talking about, and I would want to have a a clear conversation around here. So if you have questions around it, I'll be happy to take it. If I'll be knowing it, I'll definitely take it. Otherwise, I'll take your suggestions also. All right. So when we talk about quality research, let's understand what the editors think. All right. We have, as researchers, we have understood a lot of things, but now what the editors think about what should be the quality research. Now, before I delve into the editorial aspect of it, one must understand that the quantum of research articles and the submission has increased manifold in the last 5-6 years, right? More so after the COVID pandemic. So there are every journal is now boasting of, say, a 5% or 6% acceptance rate, even lesser acceptance rates, around 800 to 1,000 articles that are submitted to that particular journal. So we understand there is a lot of demand out there in terms of where to publish. So now keeping that thing in mind, now the editor has to start screening right from the very beginning. All right. So what they look for in an article is, number one, that how much citation that particular article can get, and that is something which in numeric forms, if I have to quantify it, then I'll say that how much citation that particular prospective article can garner in the near future. So because every journal, if they are vying for the top positions, the one thing is impact, the other one is to do with the citations and the impact factor. So the impact of any research is also well known through the impact factor only. All right. So yes, so there is always a very stringent screening practice that is going on today. So it's very important that we understand that you're not just the one, there are a lot of people in the queue. Now, how do you distinguish your research, and what one should do to actually go out of that zone, which we call as desk of the editor or editor-in-chief. So desk reject, uh, if it's not there, is the one good thing has happened already, and that is the desk rejection part. So what you need to do here, and what are the questions that the editor asks about the research article is whether or not it is an original research. All right. So there can be a lot of questions around what and how do you quantify or how do you categorize something as original. So originality is something uh, which comes with new scopes, new avenues. All right. So in most of the researches, you won't find that there are a lot of newness. What they do is they look out for things that have not been done. So maybe simply a research gap uh, around a theory. They will try to find out, contextualize it, and then present it as a new discovery, new finding. Nothing wrong in that. All right. But if we are vying for the best of the articles, best of the journals, then might be looking at something very, very new is important. So aspects around. So maybe if you're already doing some qualitative researches, those phenomena which have not been studied before, maybe doing a grounded theory work around it could be the beginning of quantifying it as something which we say as original. All right. So research gaps. So research gaps can be of different types. Research gaps could be around a methodology. The research gap could be around the theory, advancement of the theory. Gap could be around contextualizing it in a particular sample. So it just moves on. But when we talk about problematization, it is also about questioning existing theories also, or maybe providing something which is counterintuitive, which is something which has not been done before, or if something has been done before already, if there is a theory to that, maybe you can question that basis the new developments that have come in the field that you are or you would want to share through your research. So problematization is one step ahead of having research gaps. Then the important part, and these are the aspects which I'm talking about, is it concerns how and why, how and what is the process through which you can, get past that disk rejection. All right. The next thing is, have you followed any standard scientific procedures or protocols while conducting the experiment? So we understand that there are a lot of processes, there are a lot of protocols. Now, what protocol are you following that needs to be provided for in the methodology? And the whole aim here is to provide for the prospective researcher, somebody else who would look into your research and would want to follow your procedures, is able to do it well. Okay, by following your procedures, the person can get the same results. So it's important that we follow any standard scientific lay down procedure. Now, the next part is are the methodologies appropriate and robust? Now, methodologies can be multiple. As we understand, we have in, say, behavioral researches, we use qualitative research, we use quantitative research, or we use a mix of both. So it can be a mixed research as well. All right. So depending on what our research gaps are and what are research questions which flow from the research gap, are the methodologies appropriate? All right. So say, for example, if you are, I'm just trying to give you a simple question around a research. So if there is a quest, if the quest is to find out the causal relationship between X and Y, if there is a causal relationship, cause and effect relationship, then you should not go for survey research or cross-sectional research. Because once you're going for cross-sectional or survey researches, you are not manipulating the variable, independent variable. And that way, therefore, you are not establishing the cause and effect relationship, because there are certain tenets or principles which establish that in what condition you can say that it's a causal research. Similarly, impact based research, or what X impacts Y, or something of that sort, you are able to do it only when you are able to manipulate the independent variable, and that can be done very well with the help of, say, experiments. So when your quest is to do causal research, then the most appropriate methodology and the design should be around the experiments that we can design. So there can be issues around it. So are the methodologies appropriate and robust? You might have come across many of the reviews, and you have seen that, okay, they say that the methods are not appropriate, and then they give their own reasons. So these are some of the reasons which you can expect if you think. Also, if you think that the methodology that I'm applying is right, is correct, then it is a good idea to give some citations, some references from the journal where you are submitting the article to. You can take excerpts from that journal itself and say that, okay, this X and Y articles have used this particular methodology to find out these things, and we are taking excerpt from that and we are using it in our study. And So in a way, what you're saying is you have published these kind of articles wherein this methodology has been already published. So that way it shows two things. One, that you have read the articles that have been published in that particular journal, and two, that you understand that this methodology has also been used by different researchers. So that way it shows that there is some kind of appropriateness to the methodology. Obviously, one needs to also establish the why of it. So it goes in progression. The next is, have you presented your findings neatly and coherently? Because, it could be that you have done your work well, your research well, just that you were not able to present it well. Now, when the presentations are not good enough, they also get rejected. It's very simple that way, that you just don't eat the food. It needs to be also presented well if you're going somewhere. So that is very, very important part of your research. So you see any of the best of the journals, and I'll tell you what are the best of the journals and how do you identify that as we move on with the session. You will see the articles that are published in those journals. If you read them, you will understand that how the presentation needs to be done. So it is not something that is hidden. It's there out. Everyone does it. You please, whatever journal you are targeting, read or whatever discipline you come from, just read the articles that have been published in the best of those categories, and you will understand how to, make the presentations. If you already don't know about it, then in that case. So anybody who is an early researcher who wants to write, this could be a very good idea that you read the articles that have been published in those journals. Next is, have you written in a reader-friendly style? So now this is about who your readers are. So who your readers means, what is the readership, or who is the audience for that particular journal? All right. So one needs to read the aims and objectives of the journal, and you will find that who are the readers, what is the target audience for that particular journal, and have you written it according to a reader friendly style. Now, reader friendly style means a lot of things. It means that you're not using jargons, you are not using a lot of technical terms which is not warranted uh, for a person who is the reader of that particular journal. So if it is a absolutely scientific journal, the readership is also coming from the top academic class, then we are okay with writing a lot of technical terms and other things. But if the readership is more towards say corporates or industry people, might be writing it in that way is important. Also, reader friendly means that the writing is cogent. That means the sentences flow as we go on reading it. So one uh, idea, okay, one paragraph is how we move forward, or one paragraph, one idea. So in a paragraph, we just write one idea and then we stop. And if we have to write a different idea, different thought, then we have to move on to a different paragraph. But once you're writing, everything should flow in a cogent way. Okay. Does it advance a theory or build one? Now, building a theory is something which requires a lot of imagination, ideation, and so on and so forth. It's difficult, but not impossible. There are a lot of theories, and a lot of theories are being today thought of and being written. So, if it is building one, yeah, you need to provide a lot of other studies to validate or as I can put it, to substantiate the external validity of that particular theory. So one needs to understand that advancing a theory means that the theory is already there. You are building around more assumptions. You are providing more boundary conditions, or you're contextualizing it. That is advancing a theory. Building is again starting from the scratch. So it could be tedious. However, you can also build around the existing theories also and provide for uh, uh, other aspects here. Now, next part is implications for practitioners. So let us understand implications for practitioners means one thing which is these days being emphasized more and more is what is the impact of the research that is being done today. So how does it impact the society? How does it impact the companies? How does it impact the overall society at large? If at all, it's about that. So you will see that in business researches, mostly there's one section wherein we say uh, implications, practitioner implication, or implications for the industry or practitioners. So that is where you need to provide where does your research come from and how will it impact the industry, the society at large. So that is something which is now being more pronounced, and it is also one thing that is seen by the editor. All right. So till now, any question, please? Do we have a question here? No, I guess. All right. You're free to ask as many questions as possible if you feel. I'll keep on talking about different aspects. You might be looking at some more, or please put in your thoughts. Okay. Now, if you have to summarize it, particularly while you're submitting your article to a particular journal, so what are the things that you need to do? Now, which are those were the things. The earlier slide which we talked about was more of to do with what your research should have particularly. Now, what we are talking about is more of hygiene factors that your article should definitely have. There is no questions asked. So lack of adherence to journal or author guidelines. We make this mistake. We all understand we are in a hurry to submit our articles to journals. So what is important is that are we adhering to what the journal is providing you the guideline for? So if they are asking you to do it in a particular way, use a particular strategy, please do that. If the journal says that I'll be publishing case studies which use qualitative research methods, please do that. Otherwise, you're sending it to a wrong journal. If you're looking into what the journal is asking, you have to do exactly that, or you have to change the outlet where you have to send your article to. Otherwise, you're wasting your time as well as the editor's time. Otherwise, there are a lot of staff which are also involved, so you're wasting their time as well. So one needs to understand that you have to read the author guidelines well. Number two, submission length. Now, you will see most of the journals specify it. Some journals don't. So if the journals are not specifying, very good. You can submit with as much length as possible. But if there is a submission length, that means the number of pages or number of words, please adhere to that. Minor 500 words or one page could work around, but please don't take your chances. It can also be that the journals have flexibility. They can send you back the article saying that please reduce the length or something of that sort. If that happens, it's a good thing. Otherwise, it might also not happen. They may reject the article. Grammar, poor writing, absolute no. One needs to proofread it, get it proofread by some of the people who are well versed in English today. Those who can write well, can read well. Please give it to them, because it can also not just be about grammar and poor writing. It could also be around the readability part of it. So one might be very good at writing things, but how do you do it cogently, or might be that your reader is not able to understand it. So it's good idea to get it proofread by your friends, your colleagues who are good at it. Again, resubmitting a rejected paper to a new journal without any improvement. Now this is about your article you submitted, you got it from this rejection stage, the next stage where your article was reviewed. Now, after your article was reviewed, it got rejected, right? And when after review, the article gets rejected, you get comments from the reviewers also. So the reviewers will give their comments. I'm sure if you have already gone across this process, you already know it. So the reviewers will give their comments, and now that you feel that since my article has been rejected, why to make any change to my article? I'll just submit it to any other journal as quickly as possible. All right. So what is the harm in that? I'll tell you. The academic world is not very big. I'll put it this way. Maybe you are working on a niche topic, and that topic goes to few people only, few people who are researching in that particular topic. It could be like that. So you might end up submitting it to a journal uh, who again invites the same reviewers to review the article. Okay, this is just a if and but scenario, but otherwise also it is a good idea to look into what the reviewer comments are and get your article improved on that basis, because that is a very good first up review that you have received from the best of the researchers. So it's a good idea that one looks into all the comments, and wherever possible, obviously you make the changes. Underdeveloped paper, premature submission, we do that. We try to see, okay, this particular article, I think, let's get some views on it. Let's understand if it can go to the review stage and so on and so forth. Not a good idea. You need to complete the article, write it completely, and then send it to the journal. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time for you as well. Okay, lack of familiarity with existing work published in the target journal. This is something which we don't really think about. But right from the very beginning, when you have started working on a research study, where you have said that, okay, these are my research gaps, and these are my research questions on which I'm focusing on. So you should know what is your journal outlet. Where do you want your article to be published? All right. It should be very clear to the authors at the beginning only that, okay, these are, or maybe you can create a list, 5, 6 list of the journals where you want to submit your article to. And read those journals well concerning the topic of interest. That means what you are researching on. Now, lack of familiarity with existing work is not very kindly, taken very kindly. I put it this way, that say if 5 or 6 people are having a conversation, you cannot just go in and start talking, okay, without really understanding what the others are talking or what the conversation is actually going on. Similar is the case with the journals also. They are already indulged in some kind of discussion. So you will see that through the editorials, you will find out the editorials that the journal writes, the editors write. You go through it. You will see that there is a thrust area. There is an interest area where the journal is saying that, okay, we want these kind of articles to be published now. Or it could be around the call for papers. So look into the call for papers, look into the editorial, and you will understand that, okay, these are the, articles, these are the kind of articles that the target journal is actually publishing nowadays. All right, so we have talked about theorization. I'll not get into that. Okay. Next part is lack of methodological underpinning or rigor, single administration, self-report. So most of the, I'll say the best of the journals nowadays have started asking for multiple studies. You cannot just have 1 or 2 study. Maybe not just 1 study, you can have more than 1 study to say that, okay, whatever I am doing here in first study is now validated in the second study, and say, so you can get more of external validation that way. So you will see single administration, self-report survey instruments are not now discouraged because because it can just provide for the correlations. Correlation, not bad. It can be the starting point of many research, but you will see that the best of the journals would not appreciate that you're just going for a single administration self-report. All right. Similarly, plagiarism is something, okay, we'll talk about it in the next session, but yeah, plagiarism, immediate candidate for death rejection. Any kind of plagiarism, self-plagiarism, any kind of AI usage these days, we have tools to find out that. So can be easily found, and articles can get easily rejected on that basis. All right. Any question till here? Anybody, any question as we move on to the second aspect of this session? If you have any question till here, I'll be happy to take. No? Oh, yeah, I got a question. Okay, plagiarism, allowed level. I'll talk about it in more detail in the next session, but I'll just tell you, I'll give you a brief on this. Any kind of plagiarism is not allowed. Plagiarism, no levels. There's only similarity, all right, which is allowed, say, for example. So if you're talking about similarity from articles that have been published by self, that means you yourself, then I'll say that again, it is, I'll not give you a percentage because percentages can be troublesome later on. So I'll say that make it as minimal as possible, only where it is where you think that you have to cite yourself. Please do that. Do not copy paste your earlier published work in your new work. Okay, one should not do it. It's absolutely a no area. Only thing that one can do is take some excerpts and provide for the citation. You can also cite yourself, your work. Do paid journals also look for quality? See, yeah, I'll tell you how it is. But again, I would have wanted to talk about this in the later sessions, but it's okay. I'll just try to, since you have asked this question. Now, number one, we have to make a distinction, or you have to understand that there are different types of paid journals. Okay, paid journals means what? So I'll say any journal which charges you article processing fees is a paid journal. That way, if you look into article processing, so maybe a journal is not affiliated to a university, that you're getting a funding, is not affiliated to any organization which can fund that particular journal. So they ask for article processing charges. Now you can take article processing charges from the authors upfront. That means as you're submitting your article, you are taking the fees. This is one. Okay. Number two, you are taking the article processing charges when your article has been accepted. All right. Number two. And there are third type, which are, say, predatory type, which say that you pay us this amount and your article will 100% get published. All right. So these are the three types. Now, the first one is, which says that, okay, you have to submit your article alongside, you have to also submit the article processing charge. So in that case, one should understand and be very careful that those journals are trying to limit the number of submissions, right? So you will see that if you are 100% certain that your article can get through and your money is not going to be wasted, please submit it there. Okay, number one. Number two, so these are the journals that look for quality. As per your question, do they look for quality? Yes. Number two, those type of journals that ask for article processing charges at the end, when your article has been accepted, also look for quality. All right. The third type, which are the predatory journals, which I'll never suggest anybody to venture into, are the ones that will not look for quality. They'll say that you pay us this amount and we'll publish your article. So those are the journals that you see the light of the day. They see the light of the day today. Might be that tomorrow they are completely not there, non-existent. All right. So that can also happen very soon, very quickly. So it's not a good idea to spend your money there. Or in fact, those predatory journals are could also tarnish your image. So it's not a good idea to do it. So as per your question, paid journals, you have to then categorize which ones and then see if you're looking for quality or not. Any other question? Anyone? No question. All right. Let's move forward. Okay, one more, I guess. Okay, great. Next is finding the right journal. All right. Now, this tool that I'm going to tell you about, these are the tools that every publishing house today has. So how do they work? I'll tell you. If you're not very certain about which journal to target, it's a good idea that you have your abstract ready, keywords ready, the article title ready, and maybe provide the details over these links. All right, they'll suggest you basis the keywords where you can submit your article to. All right, this is one way of doing it, but is this the right way? There can be questions around that whether or not this is the right way, because when we are talking about the journal that you are targeting for your article, that you already come to know while you're writing it, writing any article. That means which are the journals you are referring to while you are drafting your article. So you understand that, okay, this is the potential outlet where I would want to send my article to, because this is the kind of article that they publish. And now, say for example, it happens that after a while you have submitted articles to multiple journals, you're getting rejections and you don't really know where to go. Then might be these could be the tools where you can absolutely look into. And say for example, you have for Wiley, for Taylor and Francis, for Sage journals. Let me take you to Elsevier and show how it is done. All right, so it says that match my abstract. As you can see, I hope the screen is visible. So you see, you have to match your abstract. So what I'll do is I'll just pull out an article, my article, and I'll put the abstract here. And I'll show you which are the journals that can be targeted. All right. So maybe let's do it. So I'll quickly take this paper. Okay. Put it here. I'm putting my abstract here. And I'm clicking on find journals. So I got around 40 journals that were matching my paper in Elsevier. So all the journals which are published by Elsevier. So it says that 40 journals match your paper. Now, how do they do it? They do it through keywords. All right. So as you can see, I can look in for journal of vocational behavior. So I'll go to that journal here, and I'll see what are the things, what are the aims and scope of the journal and all the other things. So so this is one. Then you have others also, technological forecasting. So as per my article's abstract, these are the journals that came up and I can submit my article there. All right. So you will see that in this particular presentation, you have links for various publishing houses. Say, for example, Sage. So we go to Sage and this is their journal recommender. They're asking for the title and the keywords. So instead of the abstract, they're just asking for the title and the keywords, and you put in and find journals, and you can find the specific journals where you can send your article to. So this is an easy method. All right. If you are already not invested much in your article, you do not know where to send your article to, then this could be a good way of moving forth. What I'll do is I can share you these links. So the organizers can share these links with you, but it's very simple. The whole point is, the challenge is that we understand that these are the areas, or these are the tools which are available for us currently. All right. So you can also link into, say, for example, Taylor and Francis. You have to just write it on Google that, as you can see, there are two easy steps. One step is just paste your keywords or paste your abstract and they will provide you. So just write on Google the publisher's name and the journal finder and you'll get it. All right. Just go and write here Sage Journal Finder and you will get it. You will get this journal recommender, which I was just talking about. It's as simple as that. So I just request you to make notes around it, but I'll also share with the organizers the links. Okay, that will be a good way that you can look into it and clarify. All right. Now, being careful is also very important as we talk about the studies that we are doing. So before you are sending your article to, one must understand that what are the predatory journals? You asked me this question, do the paid ones also look into quality? More to understand here is that, are we careful where we are sending our article to? Because it's not just about the predatory journals. It is also about cloned journals. All right. How do I put it? They can be journals which can be as it is cloned by a different website. All right. So maybe if you're talking about, say, this Journal of Vocational Behavior, this can have a cloned website where authors can go in and submit their article. In fact, they can also, in the name of the editor, they can provide you with the acceptance emails, and that has happened with multiple journals these days. So one needs to be very, very careful. Now, what are the caveats for it? I'll just quickly discuss. Yeah. Yes, Dr. Amol, very good question this. So I'll just talk a little about what Dr. Amol has just asked. So nowadays there are many journals which shows present coverage, but later on it gets discontinued. So published paper won't get indexed on Scopus database. How to handle these issues? Very, very important aspect of it. So how it happens, and I'd like to draw your attention to this. Scopus database regularly gets updated. Okay. So many journals apply for getting indexed in Scopus, and Scopus also does its regular checks vis-a-vis the caveats that needs to be followed by the journal. So if the journal is not able to get a lot of citations, that means people are not reading it. Could be a reason that your Scopus coverage can be removed or discontinued. All right. Even the citation part, let alone citation, there can be other areas. Say, for example, the journal is not publishing quality articles anymore. So basis that, the Scopus coverage can also be discontinued. Now, as an author, you are in a fix. I mean, you have already sent your article. It takes a year or year and a half to get your article published. And after that, you learn that that particular journal has been removed from Scopus or it has been discontinued. Is very disheartening, to be honest. But one needs to understand that if your article has already been published and till that date it was under Scopus coverage, then your article will continue to be on Scopus database. So if it has been published and the crawlers in Scopus have already taken it and it has already been indexed, then there is nothing to worry about. It will get discontinued for other other articles that will come in at a later point in time. But if your article has already been published and indexed, then there's nothing to worry about. It will be for the forthcoming articles and issues. But yeah, it can also be discontinued while your article is in the process. So yeah, it's very disheartening and you can't really do anything about it. One needs to be, though, very, very careful around which journals you are submitting your article to. It's a good idea that you are submitting your article to well-established journals that have a reputation in the academic world. Not to say that those which are present already on the Scopus list are not reputable or so, but there are certain things, certain red flags for a journal. Say, for example, a journal is getting too many citations in too few time, less time. That could be a red flag. It could also be that the journal is doing well in terms of publishing the best of the articles, but it could also be a red flag that it could look like a strategy to increase the citation of the journal, and those things are also happening very much. So thank you, Dr. Amol, for pointing it out. It is just very important for all of us to have our eyes and ears open while we are submitting our article to the journals. All right, I'll take you to Scopus on that pretext quickly and show it to you for how you can really. Give me a moment. All right. All right. So, okay, I've got a question. Okay, thank you. So now you see, you have different sources. So let's see, at this present moment, there are 46,704 results. That means 46,704 journals are on Scopus today. All right. And you will see that these are their site scores and other things. But if I have to just look at, say, search sources, in that subject area, I'll put any of the disciplines, maybe say archaeology, right? And I apply. So I got 509 results. So in the area archaeology, arts and humanities, I have 509 journals. All right. And say, for example, Journal of Archaeological Research. How do you keep looking at while you're submitting your article to any journal that this year's currently being covered is there. Okay. And if the journal has been, say, removed or is being discontinued, then it will show here that the journal has been discontinued from this particular year. All right. So here you have to be very careful and look for the journals. I'll talk more about Scopus and other things in a quick while from now. All right. Now, let me take you to a website which talks about how you can think, check, and submit your article. So what are the caveats one needs to follow? So this is a website which is very good. I mean, if you are a beginner, if you do not know much about it, then maybe you can ask yourself these simple questions. One, do you or your colleagues know about the journal? Okay, have you read any articles in the journal before? Is it easy to discover the latest papers in the journal? So maybe if you know about a journal, you just go and search it on Google. The first 5 search results, among the first 5 search results, you should get your journal. All right. Say, for example, if the journal is not very well known, then you will not find it in the very first 5 response that you're getting. Okay. So it can be a red flag. One needs to understand that. The name of the journal name is unique. Okay. Can you easily identify and contact the publisher? If not, you will see that the publisher's email is always provided in most of the journals. a landing page. Also for those journals which are UGC indexed, this is a criteria. One more criteria for say EISSN or ISSN, if you have to apply, you need to have the institutional email IDs of the editors. That should be duly mentioned on the landing page where the editorial information is provided for. So those are the things which are absolutely must. So if those information are not there, that can be a red flag where you have to understand. So is the journal clear about the peer review it uses? So is there any question around the peer review? If you feel that it can be corrupted, don't go there. If the journal is providing a statement on the peer review, how it does, is it a anonymous peer review? It's a double in anonymous peer review. So that means if the article sorry, if the reviewer doesn't know about the author and the author also doesn't know about the reviewer, so that could be a good idea to look into. All right. So these are some of the things that one needs to look into. All right. You can just quickly see, are articles indexed or archived in dedicated services? So if any journal is says that that we are open access journals, then those should also be indexed by DOAJ. Okay, that is Directory of Open Access Journals. So you might want to look into this website and try to find out your journal if it is boasting that it's an open access journal. All right, so these things needs to be looked into. One needs to be very careful around while you are submitting your article. All right, there's one more website. I'll quickly take you there. This gives you it's a journal evaluation tool. So you will see that it provides you with a journal evaluation rubric. So while you're doing the web search of the journal, is the journal within the top 5 entries? The journal name cannot be confused with another journal, and there are so many other things that you can look into to evaluate the journal. All right, and give yourself give the journal the score that is required. So say for example, the first one that I'm talking about, if I just put my search as Journal of Vocational Studies, right? This was the one. Journal of Vocational Behavior, not Studies, Behavior. So behavior. Right. So this is the first search result that has come in. Okay. So it should come within the first 5 at least. One needs to be careful in those aspects. All right. Let us now quickly talk about citations. All right. And from that, I'll take you to what impact factor is, what site score is. So citation, as we understand, this is one parameter to identify if their article is being taken well by the fellow researchers in the field. Okay, so if your research is getting citations, that means it has been well received by the community of researchers, and it is being used to further the discussion around it. All right, so references to other academic work within a scholarly article. Now, what is the purpose of it? That supports argument, as I said. Now, basis these citations, there are impact factors for any journal that is being calculated, or a site score is calculated. So I'll take you there. So what is impact factor? Now, impact factor is given by Thomson Reuters earlier. Now it is Clarivate that does it. So you see impact factor, how it is calculated. So citations in current year. So if I'm talking about, say, Journal of Vocational Behavior, okay, and I'll take you to the Scopus page where I'll be showing you the site score, not the impact factor, but the site score, because impact factor is generated by Web of Sciences, and Scopus Elsevier does it for the site score. These are different institutions, organizations that do it. So citations in the current year divided by total number of articles that have been published in the previous 2 years. So if I have to, for any journal, if I have to calculate the impact factor for 2023, I will do this. Citations that has been received in the current year, that is 2023, and the articles that have been published in the previous 2 years, that is 2021 and 2022. And then divide the citation by the number of publications, and whatever you get is the impact factor. Now, impact factor was a very closed group. That means Thomson Reuters used to publish only impact factor for very few journals. But nowadays they have started, publishing impact factor for most of the journals which are indexed by Web of Sciences. So they do it nowadays. But this is how you calculate it. So number of citations that have been received in the current year divided by the publications that have happened in the last 2 years. So previous 2 years. So 2023, if you are looking at the impact factor, then you have to look at the publication that has happened in 21 and 22. What is then the difference with the site score? Site score is, it takes into account few more years. That means 2 more years they take into consideration. Instead of 2 years, they take 4 years. So how it's calculated? So citation in the previous 4 years divided by number of articles that have been published in the previous 4 years. All right. So if you have to calculate the site score for any journal for this particular year, you have to look into the citations that have happened in this year, last year, last to last year, and last to last year. And that way, whatever it is, you sum it up and divide by the total number of publications that were done by these journals in these 4 years. And whatever you get is your site score. If I have to take you to that, let me take you there. Yeah, say for example, Journal of Archaeological Research. As you can see, the site score is 10.2. You will see how it is calculated. So for the year 2023, this is how it's calculated. 490 citations between the years 2020 to 2023. And then divided by the total number of documents, that means the articles that were published in these previous 4 years. So this is how you get 10.2, which is a very good site score, by the way. Site score tracker for 2024, because 2024 is not yet finished. So there is a tracker. That means up till this date, this particular date, what is the site score for this particular journal? So that comes out to be 9.3. All right. So this is how you calculate the site score. On these basis of the site score, you determine if your journal is in the quartile list. Which quartile list it is? Q1 to Q4. There are 4 lists. And basis that you will see which quartile does this journal fall into. So how do you find it? You'll just quickly see it's in the 99th percentile. So 75 to 99 is Q1. Okay. And then 75, lower than 75, that's 74 to 50 is your Q2. Less than 50 till 25. Yeah. It's Q3. And then lower than that is Q4. These are the 4 quartiles. As you can see, as we move down, you will find there the site score going down. And there are so many journals. So we are talking about Journal of Archaeological Research. There are different streams in which these site scores are also calculated. So as you can see, and they are ranked. So this is how ranking is done. So Journal of Archaeological Research is number 1 in the category of archaeology. And similarly, you will see there are a lot of journals that feature over here. Any question till here? Anybody? Any question? Please feel free to ask. You can put down your questions on the chat box. Go ahead, Dr. Sharma. Others also, if you can think about any question, please do ask. what aspects of 2020 NEP does it address? I mean, this research, this particular session, are you talking about? Okay, so in this particular session, if you look into NEP does talk about researches, right? Research is an integral part of the entire. If you look into and clearly understand NEP, you will see that there are provisions for research made. So this session is basically to sensitize you on this. I think I'll stop here into explaining why, how it is related that way. So for undergraduate or for postgraduate students, if you have to understand or teach them, help them doing the projects, maybe this session is a good, you know, acknowledgement in that regard. Yeah, completely. But the understanding of it needs to be there with everybody, right? So understanding that is very, very important. Understanding the citations and other things are important because that is how you can disseminate the information. So there are multiple, you know, professors who already know about it, but there might be others who do not know much about it. So yeah, that could be. Okay, has there been a review in NEP 2020? Scopus indexing changes, you know, it's not about, see, let us understand, nothing has changed. The only thing is that it is about creating awareness about this. So we are here to create more and more awareness regarding it. So nothing changes. Things remain the same. It could be that one is following that. So yeah, thank you. Anyone else having any question around it? All right. So let's move on. Okay, now let me talk about advanced search quickly and advanced search through Scopus, and so that we sensitize our audience around it and understand how, you know, how to do advanced searches in some of the websites. Thank you. All right. So now, say for example, one is trying to search any say articles on, say, maybe stress or say emotions and stress. Let's take these two things, and how does it impact the burnout of the students, say for example. Now this is something that, how do you do this search on? So maybe you'll just put in these, all these keywords around here that okay, burnout, emotions, stress among students. All right, and you put a search and you get a lot of results. If you want to see, you can just do a quick Google Scholar search and you find it out. So emotions and say burnout among students. So I'm doing it on Google Scholar. So I got around 280,000 results. All right. So 280,000 results. If you're doing any, you know, SLR or systematic literature review and so on and so forth, it becomes difficult to actually look into so many papers. All right. We have different ways of doing it. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So as we see, as how we can move around here. So if you see, how do you do it? So these are the topics of interest that we had. So what do? We just write emotions, and we what we do? We add search field. Again, here we put in burnout. Okay, and we add. we put in students. All right. So these are all, and why I'm doing it, because I want emotions, I want burnout, I also want students. All right. All the three things I want in my the study, the literature which I want to explore more. So these are the three things which I would want to have. Now, so there can be some things which are very synonymous. Say, for example, emotions, and maybe you also want to study stress. So I can just write here or, and you see I'm using these quotes here as well. Stress. All right. Emotions or stress. And I'll just search it. You got somewhere around 280,000 results in Google Scholar. Now you're getting around 2,943 such in your Scopus database. Now, say for example, and these are the most, I would say, pinpointed researchers that you would want to look into. I mean, most appropriate ones that you would want to look into. Now, say for example, you want it for say undergraduate students. So maybe you can just students, or you just want for undergrad students, say for example. So undergraduate students, only studies that focus on undergraduate students. I'm just trying to, make it as extensive as possible, as in what you really want to search, you will get those, results. So search. So not much of a difference. All right. So maybe you can now look into the kind of techniques or the methodologies that have been used. So say, for example, all these studies that have used qualitative research, and you can search it, and you will see that it has reduced to 77 documents. Maybe if you want to do a SLR or something of that sort, or you want to proceed with your doctoral study, or you want to help somebody on this, or your students on this. So maybe you can tell them that this is how advanced searches help us in zeroing down on the things that we really want, instead of having many documents to our disposal. All right. Okay, I think there are a lot of questions. Oh, no questions. Thank you. But if you have any more other question, please do let me know. Okay. All right. Any other question here till this part? Okay, great. So I hope this part is also understood, where I'm talking about how to do this advanced search in these repositories. But you also have these journal indexing and rankings that are there. So you have Scopus as one, then you have this Web of Sciences. Okay, here also you can look for which journals you want to search for, and so on and so forth. Those who are coming from business management, commerce discipline would want to look into the ABDC list to find out the quality journal list. Here you have rankings as well. So you might want to look into that, where you are looking at the rankings. So you just, if you want to look for field of research, say you want a strategy, management, or organizational behavior, and you want A star. A star is considered to be among the ABDC list. A star is the best list that you can have. You can just filter it, and you get a lot of journals which are there in the A star. Not a lot, but these are the few journals which are absolutely the best journals in this field of research. So you might want to look into ABDC list for those who come from management discipline or commerce discipline. All right. And Shimago also provides you with a list of journals, not list exactly, but for every journal you have to go and search there, and you have to find out what is the score here, and it will also provide you which quartile the particular journal is listed into. So sometimes if you are not able to look into the Scopus database, maybe Shimago can be a good way to move forward. All right, I've already talked about the advanced search thing. Let me, so advanced search engines, there are a lot of engines, all right? I was just talking about Scopus, but the same thing can also be done on Web of Sciences, even the Google Scholar. You can go to ResearchGate. Now, what is the advantage of having, your ResearchGate account? So in the ResearchGate account, you can, so I have been talking to multiple people and authors, researchers. The one thing that is very problematic is getting uh, hand on the exact article, the article which you are looking for. Maybe that is subscription based, so you are not able to get hold of it. So ResearchGate is a good network website wherein you can write to the authors specifically asking for the particular article. So I have never come across, I mean, it could be very minimal if at all, that the authors are not sending their, articles. It might only be possible when you are not available. All right. So otherwise you get most of the articles from the authors themselves. So if you are finding any difficulty in getting a hold of that particular article, go to ResearchGate, try to find out that article, write to the author, and they will provide you with that particular article. If not, it is a good idea to even write to the corresponding author. They'll also provide you with a copy. So it's a good idea doing these things, because it just not provides you with the article that you want. The complete access also can be provided without the subscription fees. Similarly, you have these websites like Social Science Research Network, UGC Carelist is also there, JSTOR, EBSCO, and ResearchGate I've already talked about. All right. Other things that one needs to, be cautious about is open access journals, as I've already talked about. There is one more category of on open access journals that one needs to understand, and that is every journal has this policy wherein they say there is a green access, green open access, wherein, or there's one more access option, which gold open access, wherein they ask you to provide pay a subscription charge, and then they will make it open. So you will see that some of the authors who can get funding or have already got funding for their research can from that fund apply for subscription, and that way your article will become open access. Now open access articles mostly garner more citations, because that's open access, as there's no rocket science that if it's open access, then more people will be able to get hold of it. So some of the institutions through their policies also provide for these open access subscription charges, so that's also there. There are some institutions, there are institutions that have this policy of having their own repositories, wherein you can submit your article and you can get access to the preprints and others also for that particular journal that you're looking at. All right. Any question till here before we try and wind up this session? Any question on this that you would want to know or ask about? We got some time. We can make full use of this by asking more questions. No? Okay, so let's go to the last part of it, making publications visible. All right, one question, I guess. No question. Okay. So making publications visible, if I have to talk about, again, you have these websites, Open Research and Contributor ID, or CID. Use this, have your account there, so that, in fact, while you're submitting your article to a journal, you might also be asked for this. Some of the journals are very strict about that. Okay, you need to have a ORCID account before you are, submitting your article to any journal. So you need to have this. And for Scopus, you don't need to create an account. Say, for example, if your article is published and that is Scopus index already, then it will be already, that research will already be visible there. All right. So you don't need to create an account there, but yeah, visibility can be brought around if you're already published in articles that are indexed in Scopus. Similarly, you can create your account on Publons, on Google Scholar, ResearchGate, SSRN. Also, it's a good idea to post your researches on LinkedIn. Now, what are the things that one should do at when you're posting it on LinkedIn or Twitter? What one should do there? You tag the more important people, the research that you have done, how does it impact them? Okay. So maybe that kind of a post, it should not be about the article. You don't post your article, just give a summary of what you have done, what you have found, and tag the relevant people in that post so that it reaches out to many people who might want to read about it. Okay. If it's a practitioner related data, might be it's a good idea that anybody reads around it. All right. And similarly, say, for example, you will also see that every article now has an altmetric score. Okay. This altmetric score is something which means that how much popular it is in the social media. All right. So that way, there can be more visibility around your own research. And obviously, there is institutional repository. If you have it, you're permitted to send a copy. That copy should not be the publisher copy as such, but the one which you have gotten after the review is done or before the review is done. And the publishers are very, very careful while they provide you with the copyright form. You should be careful what you're signing into, because look into which version of record can you submit to the institutional repositories or in the social media accounts. All right. So that way you will be safe that you share only that version for which you have the rightful ownership of. Because generally when you are, signing the copyright form, you're transferring the copyright there. All right. So one needs to be very careful. Read the copyright form while you are signing it and adhere to what has been asked there. All right. And then share it accordingly, because it's your article, but after the signing, you have to honor the agreement which has been done. All right. So thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Otherwise, I think it's done for the day. How to get ORCID account? Just go to ORCID website. I'll show it to you. Just go to this website, ORCID. Sign in and register. Here you have to sign in. So you can sign in through your institution, or if you want to do it through your Google account, you can do it and create an account there. That's it. It will give you a 16-digit ORCID number that you can use, and that will be specific to you, which can be, connected, linked to different streams. So you don't have to create a lot of accounts later on while you're submitting your article to multiple journals. All right. So that's how you do it. Just go through the process here. Go to ORCID, create your account there. Very simple. All right. Thank you. Over to you, Arzu.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for the session. And as a PhD scholar myself, I have personally learned from here. And we have gotten the feedback from everyone on YouTube and on Zoom call as well.
Thank you.
Looking forward to having you back with us once again very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yes. And to let you all know, the feedback link will be shared very soon on the Telegram group. You could go there right now and fill the form.